Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth today. For the newbies, I am Anna and I share my content with you with this underpinning desire to empower people and help them to fulfill their life or to live lives where they feel fulfilled. And the way I do this is by giving information to help people to access their strengths and their gifts. For those people that are returning visitors, I just want to thank you again for being part of my journey. I'm always going to do that in case you find it repetitive. That's just part of my personal style. I like to acknowledge the gifts and the blessings. And if you're a returning visitor, I consider you to be one of my blessings, okay? I do hope this week has been a really good one for you and that you also are feeling blessed. I've had a number of positive experiences this week for which I'm grateful. I also have a couple of questions today that I might ask you as we go through, and I've got a little bit of information to share with you. So I'll crack on in an effort to try and keep this video brief. So firstly, the question part today relates to technology. It's about the fact that it's still proving to be a bit of a challenge for me, and not with the service provider anymore and not with the infrastructure. It's actually the way to make affordable yet creative video content for this channel. And I'm just wondering if anybody's got any suggestions or ideas themselves. Now, my grand news is I have a new man. This is not so much a challenge really, but it is a bit at the moment because I'm trying to record a video. I've put the image up here so you can see him. He's only 4 months old, so he's a puppy, and I'm not sure if he's a Spanish speaker. This is what's crossed my mind this morning because I got him from an elderly lady who speaks Spanish as her primary language. And what I've identified is he certainly doesn't answer or respond to any calls. He doesn't even know his name, and I wouldn't put him up there as being well behaved yet. I've got to do some intensive training with him. So I've decided to call him Toby, is what I'm saying. He is a dear little fellow. You probably can hear him in the background. I'm hoping he's going to remain a bit quiet because we're only on day 2 and he's a little bit clingy at the moment. Everything is new and exciting for him. He's had a really big and busy and exciting day. He was sleeping, but now he's woken up and I can hear him because there's some kids walking past, so he's decided he has to exert his testosterone, if you like. So you might hear him a little bit, hopefully not too much. If he gets too bad, I'll have to obviously pause the recording and come back to it. But anyway, he really is the sweetest little fellow. He's a Chihuahua crossed with a Shih Tzu, and basically where we're going with this is, he's just a yappy little scruff ball, but he's not too small. So it's kind of interesting that I have decided to get a dog today, and of course I picked this image of the picket fence before I even collected him because I decided that I wanted to have a discussion about boundaries today because they're so important, and we obviously have to keep revisiting them, ourselves, me included, about what is important and what isn't. So some things are negotiable, some things are flexible, some are just rigid. Now, of course, having the puppy and with him being yappy, this becomes a situation for me as a prime example of boundaries, to be very clear with them because I've got to try and teach him boundaries and not have him become confused. And of course, this yappiness is a bit of a problem, especially because he doesn't obey any commands yet, and I've got to try and teach him them. And initially, so this morning I've been focused on trying not to have him bark his head off. He does bark at everybody that walks past the fence, whether they're children, whether they're trucks, whatever, everything excites him. And so I thought, well, okay, I don't want to encourage this kind of behaviour over the long haul. So what I'll do is I'll bring him indoors when he starts barking. Well, I've decided I have to prioritise. The idea, I think, for now is that he does not bark when he's indoors. So I think I will stagger it, get him sorted on his indoor behaviour, and then worry about his barking at the neighbours down the track. But anyway, when we talk to neighbours and the fences, this is why I put this up, because I think I had been reminded of this week. So let's talk about how boundaries we can identify with physical actions when a person's got boundary issues with their relationships, because it just sticks out. Once you know what you're looking for, it just stands right out. So I'm going to draw upon my experience with my current neighbour. He's a young man. He's probably about 30 years younger than me. He's very successful in business. Obviously, he's good at what he does to be successful. The relevance of this is his business has been expanded expanding. So what I find interesting and where it becomes a boundary issue is that somebody of my generation who's a little bit more mindful of boundaries, as that business starts to expand, such as when my brother had his business going, it expanded. Actually, he's the same trade as this guy next door. But once his business started to expand, being an older person, he then went and got a property and he parked extra vehicles at his workplace property. With my neighbour, what he does is he now has about 4 cars at his house, so there's no room for his visitors. And when they turn up, they of course will chop up my front verge. So you've got to have a laugh when you talk about this. Now, naturally, this is one of the things that I'm very aware of because I used to work in human services and try and educate and support people that they do have a right to, this is a really good example of a physical situation. Yes, they do have a right to housing and a roof over their head, but when we have our rights, we also have responsibilities to ensure that as we access our freedoms and rights, that we don't impinge on other people's rights. So we've got responsibilities. There is no right without a responsibility to uphold certain behaviours. And what happens in the tenancy situation is if a person is not a responsible tenant and doesn't meet their obligations, obviously they will have their tenancy terminated. So where I'm going with this is basically, if you were to scrutinise your own life and your relationships with people, and you will see where they're taking advantage of you and where they're not. Now that becomes an impingement on your boundary, but you'd need to look at, how much does this affect me? And is it a boundary that you're willing to negotiate? Now, I had to put my own test to the theory this week because it turns out that they also have got a little doggy and they have had somebody come by to bath the dog. I laugh as I say this, okay? This became one of those inner conflict, and will I flex my boundaries and accommodate their needs, or will I actually maintain the strength of this boundary that I've got up called a fence and a front verge? And, oops, sorry about the doggy. Anyway, look, suffice to say, what happened was these people came in, they chowed along my front verge, then parked up actually on it until I went out there and told them to move it. And it turns out that the lady that had done this drive along the front verge and onto my property, if you want to call it that, she'd done it because actually she doesn't know how to reverse a trailer, and she had a trailer attached to it. But I didn't know that at the time that I asked her to move it. What I then saw was this whole heap of drama going on for this lady to be able to move her car. Now, part of me was going through that, oh my goodness me, this is just so hard. I feel guilty, as you do. I feel guilty for standing up for my rights. And I thought there was that part of me that did because we all like to be nice, that was about to go out and say, look, don't worry about it. It's okay for now. Just leave it be. And then I thought, you know what? No, it's not. I actually will maintain this boundary. I'm not going to be super nice about it, because at the end of the day, these people that damage the front verge, they don't pay for it to be repaired. And this is the problem, why I've dug my heels in and come down on this verge. They don't pay for it to be repaired. And the other thing is, I think there's something to do with responsibility. If you're going to run a business where you need to tow a trailer, then it's really important that you actually be competent at that, because that's a vital ingredient of your actual business. So is it helpful to that person anyway if I was to turn around and say, look, don't worry about it, obviously you're not competent at moving a trailer, just do it, right? And that enables her to keep going without competency. Whereas if I just put the boundary in place and say, it's the way it is, it's your problem, if you can't park it, learn how, which actually is what I did. Some people might see that as, it depends on where you're sitting as to whether or not you see this to be kind. But I did talk to somebody about it later on. I said the other thing too that stopped me from actually being overly helpful was because I'm very well aware, if I had turned around and said to these people, look, don't worry about it this time, these are the kind of people that if you do it once, they will continue to push the boundary. And historically what I've had with these people is, and this is one of the reasons why I've put my boundaries out there so rigidly, is because I have a number of boundaries, if you like, just on the property. The first is the front gates where people access the yard. The second is to go into the rear of the property. And what I've actually found is these people have opened the gates, walked into the yard, and even gone, we call it a yard, it's a garden, actually, I think in different countries, but they have walked into the back garden to perhaps retrieve something that's fallen over the fence without even knocking on the door to let me know they're present. Now, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but here in Australia, that's actually, if you ever visit here, you just don't do that, okay? It's very intrusive, it's invasive, and it violates another person's privacy. It's actually illegal, to be honest, to go onto somebody's property without their consent into the back garden or yard, as we call it. So anyway, yeah, where I'm going is, automatically, if a person cannot see a fence as being a boundary, that there will be some real relationship impingements, shall you say. So just some food for thought for you when you're looking at your own boundaries, and just a reminder that have your own boundaries respected. We need to be very mindful and respectful of other people's boundaries. And as I say this, of course, I look over at that little doggy and I think, yeah, I hope that works. We're going to try it. We're going to give it a shot. So, as usual, what is new on the channel? Well, we have new videos as part of the current content. We don't have any new content, such as looking at crystals, which is something that I'll be doing down the track. But we do have more videos in regard to the colour, the angels, and the numerology. So, let's run through that. So the colour content on the Power of Colour playlist is coming along nicely. If you're a newbie to the channel, you won't be aware that the colour series includes about 50 separate full-length videos, plus the shorts and the promos that I do for them. And so what I've been aiming to do is to complete all of them and record them and then schedule them on the channel. And this is because I'm trying to create the space to work on an independent project. There's a plan I feel inspired to take care of, and I need to have some time to work on it, to manifest it. And I'm not going to share it at the moment because that's not what you do when you're manifesting. But once I've completed it, I will most certainly make an announcement. But either way, it is coming along. I've only got about 3 more videos to record for this particular series. And by that, actually not 3 videos, so 6 videos, 3 colours. And so anyway, yes, it's happening. So just to recap and summarise, this week you'll have seen the colour purple. It's been loaded and you can access it on the Power of Colour playlist. Basically, the colour purple is focused on the link between the mind and thought and divine connection, but it does also encompass aspects of the clairs to an extent, of course. So you will also have seen cherry loaded. This is a really vibrant colour, extremely vibrant. This went up this week as well. Cherry carries the hues of blues in it, so to speak, although they're not overtly in your face or anything like that. So there is a level of intuition associated with the colour cherry. Both the purple and the cherry, as I said, they're already loaded. You will find them. But just a reminder, the colour cherry is also about opening up a person to experience a greater level of sweetness in their life. Next week, the content is going to include the colour red. Goodness me, I hope my voice is okay because I'm sort of trying to record in between the dog barking. Anyway, when it comes to the colour red, it's associated with all things base chakra. And from a healing perspective, it's also associated with blood and pain and healing any ailments associated with both of those factors, if you like. If it's a disorder of the blood or if it involves feeling pain as a result of an injury or disease, then you would use the colour red. But I'll let you watch that video to get more details. So while the colour Scarlet is a red and it does carry the properties of the base red, which is associated with the base chakra, from an energy perspective, it's a little bit higher energy because it includes aspects of the sacral chakra. And this is because it's got tinges of orange in it. I'll let you watch the video to get more information, but you can understand actually when you look at the breakdown of the colour, why it's actually associated with what people call the Scarlet Woman. It's a very sensual colour and it incorporates aspects or energy of fertility, desire and libido as well. So in regard to the numerology, you will have seen the pyramids and peaks loaded this week. It is a 2-part series. Now, just to clarify for those people that are new to the channel or who are older but haven't got into the numerology content, what you're finding with the numerology content, the reason why it's so expansive and it is so detailed is because I'm basically delivering a free online workshop on how to do numerology. And this is about empowering people because it is extremely revealing. When it comes to the pyramids and the peaks, though, I figured that it was better to deliver it in the 2 videos because it would be too long to load as one, but also to make you wait a week before being able to interpret and analyze and make sense of the content that I'd given you just didn't seem to be practical. And this is why I loaded them both on the same day. But either way, what I've done is I have deliberately put in timing chapters to help you go directly to the content that you need. I would recommend that people watch these videos. You can speed them up and slow them down, at least the how-to watch them once, probably full length, even if it is a bit repetitive, because it's important to be accurate when you do these types of things. And when these activities, shall we say, when you're looking at any of these numbers to try and plan them out, yes, you do need to be accurate and correct in the way that you do your construction of your pyramids and peaks first. And then once you've created them accurately, then you can go in and interpret and analyze them. And I always recommend people start by looking at their own numerology first and then looking at perhaps their family members around them, because these are the people that they know closely and they're more likely to be able to interpret or analyze some of the things that might be hidden from the general public. Because remember, talking about boundaries, we all have layers of who we trust and how far we will let them come into our inner sanctum and our sacred sense of self. But a family member, especially if it's a close family, they're going to have certain accessibility. Now, I'm hoping he's going to stay silent now. I had to put on my gruffest, meanest voice, but we'll see how it goes. Back to the video. Okay, so in regard to the content, as I said, it's about giving you access to material that I would normally provide in a workshop. It's normally a paid service, and it can be a bit challenging, but I do recommend that people give it a go. The other thing I was going to mention is, while I do recommend that people watch the whole video, there's a couple of things that people can do, and that is that you can use the wheel nut on YouTube to speed up or slow down. Once you've watched it once, then you will know where you need to go as you do your analysis or create your own pyramids and peaks and that kind of stuff for your family. You can just come back, click on a section, it'll take you straight there. Oh, the other thing that you can actually do is you can put on whatever it's called, I can't remember the subtitles, the language thing, and so that you can actually see the words that come up as well. So what you'll be able to see tomorrow as well, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the last numerology video, I'm putting up the name numerology. There is something else that I can actually do, and that's the karmic numerology and the divine blueprint, but I'm not sure if I'm going to deliver that yet. I want to think about that a little bit more. But tomorrow what you're going to see is the name numerology go up. It's actually a long video. It goes just over an hour, but it's designed to be very comprehensive and give you all the information that you might want or need in regard to analysing and interpreting your own names or your family members. It would be particularly beneficial for parents, but you wouldn't be able to look at the name numerology until the baby has been born, once it's arrived, because there's all those other factors that come into play. You can't do name numerology on its own. It's designed to either enhance or strengthen any vulnerabilities, or to balance out some strengths where people have got very strong aspects in their personality. It might, with a strong name, actually lead them or lend them to be a little bit domineering or even intimidating to other people. So we also would look at the astro signs when we're looking at selecting names as well. And anyway, I'm going to leave you to take a look at that. I hope that it's something that you will enjoy. And it's always, it's good fun for me actually to go back and look at this stuff and remind myself of it too, and to explore it from different options, because I tend to habitually go back and look at myself, my own children as well, and look at how things are panning out as per the divine plan. And it's so interesting that we just seem to all be doing it, even if it's subconscious. We're all working to our plans one way or another. But anyway, so name numerology is going up on Monday. So the angel content is coming along. I'm fairly happy with it. But of course, as far as preparation goes, I am still doing it Primarily week by week. I'm trying to get ahead, but it's not happening as fast as what I would like to. If there is an angel, I do recommend if there is an angel in particular that you would like to see a video go up on, check out the angel hierarchy video on the Angels More Angels playlist. Let me know, and I'm more than happy to prioritize that one and load it first. This week you will have seen the Angel of Wisdom go up, Zagzagel. Anyway, I believe that one is beneficial because it really helps to identify the difference between the mind chatter that people have and to follow their divine guidance and to do it in ways where they're not delusional. So we need to be able to follow our guidance and not what we think is our guidance. So you get some methods provided to you through the Zagzagel video. Anyway, that one you can find. Go take a look at it. I do recommend it, of course, because I made it. The Angel of Vision content will be up this week. You'll see it on Wednesday. At the moment, I actually still have to record it. This is going to be the problem for me, I guess, for a little while Puppy gets used to living here. At the moment, I'm kind of running, if you can't tell by my voice, I'm running from recording a slide as quickly as I can, then going to addressing Puppy's needs, whose name is actually Toby, and I must remember to call him Toby, and then coming back and doing the video content. But anyway, with the Angel of Vision, the benefits of this, look, everything that I put up to do with the angels is going to provide some form of benefit or assistance, whether people believe in angels or not, but purely through creating behavioral change, if we like, and how to create a greater peace and harmony in our lives. Now, vision is very important because when we talk about vision, we're not just talking about, oh, I had a vision, and it was a dream that came true. We're not just talking about that. We are talking about divine vision, which is, can include things like visions in dreams. It can be the process of holding a vision for manifestation, but also, more importantly, it's how we choose to see the world. This is how we, that free will and choice comes in. We've got a choice. And so when we talk about the angel of vision, we're talking about the choices that we make and how to make healthy choices, and not only how to make the choices, but actually how to live by them. So, ideally, obviously, the Angel of Vision is going to support you to live your life purpose. So as far as the quotes are going, that's stock standard, that's occurring. There's not an issue with actually the construction of them or even loading them or anything else. Where the art reels are concerned, I have started again on creating the AI images of angels. So I've put a couple here for you, as usual. I like to do that. Whether or not I do an art reel, that remains to be seen. I've got a lot of content at the moment that I could use, but they're all pretty similar, so I like to add a little bit of variety there as well. So you might see an art reel this week, but you might not. So my friends, that's it for today. It's not too long. It's not as short a video as I would have liked to have created, but it's not too long. So I'm not going to waffle on. I'm just going to turn around and say, love you, leave you. Thank you for being part of my journey. Have a blessed day, blessed week. Take care, be safe. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye for now. Blessings to you.